On a long flight recently, I got a chance to rewatch a movie I hadn't seen in a long time, That Thing You Do. Great movie, actually written and directed by Tom Hanks, his first role as director. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. If you have seen it, you're familiar with the fictional band in the movie that the movie revolves around, called The Wonders. And there's a great scene right near the beginning of the movie where they're tossing around ideas for a band name, and they're all trying to sort of play off the same thing as the Beatles and their creative spelling and using the word beat that obviously alludes to music. One of them comes up with the idea for The Wonders, and they spell it Oneders. And the trouble right away is that not everybody knows how to pronounce the name, and they get announced on stage and on the radio when people are calling them the Oneders because they're sort of looking at the letters in the words more literally and not catching the play on words and calling them the Oneders. For the fictional band in the movie, the pronunciation actually became such a problem and issue that they changed the spelling of their band's name to Wonders so that there would be no complications or misunderstanding as to how to pronounce it. Now, it's not as clever of a name spelled that way, but it takes the mispronunciation out of play. I tell you this story because it's a valuable lesson in the world of trademarks. There is no correct way to pronounce any trademark according to the guidelines of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. And this is important because whenever you're analyzing a potential or situation involving a likelihood of confusion analysis, you have to take into consideration that there might be multiple ways to pronounce something. And you might have a preferred way to pronounce your mark, but that doesn't necessarily mean that consumers are going to pronounce it that way, and it doesn't necessarily mean that courts are going to analyze it as only having that one pronunciation. And that can be a key issue in comparing two marks because sound is an important way that marks are communicated, of course, and analyzed and compared. Not only does it have a legal implication, but also a practical implication when you're coming up with or building a brand or a slogan. Think about the fact that consumers, if you're getting really tricky with your spelling or with combining words, they may not always see it or say it the same way that you do, and you want to consider what pronunciations there might be for the mark and what the implications are of that. Again, just one last 5-star review for That Thing You Do. If you've never seen the movie, go out and stream it tonight.